Game number 3.
The
And with Yo still having a restart instead of RiuT. And now those are perfect deers.
which once more should have been the other way around, right?
Yeah,
should have been the other way around.
absolutely.
Should have been the other way around. Okay, let's stick to RiuT's point of view for now. He's got a nice map as far as I can see. The gold maybe not an ideal placement, right? It's quite close to the water. In case he does lose the water early on, it could be easily raided.
Yeah, and the other gold isn't good as well, right?
This gold's just between two patches of wood, really not ideal. So let's see. Looks like RiuT's, I don't know, he does have better deer, but was this restart actually worth it? I'm not sure.
Well, not if you know the map of Yo,
Let's
obviously.
take a look at map of
but
Yo,
now he has a
and
better map, yeah.
Yeah, look at this map for Yo. Gold safe.
But he only has 3 deer,
safe.
right? Oh no, he already got one. Okay.
He started with 1, and he's got a boar quite close. What about, yeah, that boar could be
Well,
a bit of a trouble.
wait. Is it still, didn't he still get a first sheep?
What do you mean?
There's still 4 sheep left.
Well, I guess he just went
started with
straight
deer
away.
first.
He just went straight away. Maybe that deer was so close to the TC that it was worth it to do that.
Yeah,
Even
seems
better
so.
for him, of course. Even better for him. So really
Yeah.
good map here for Mr. Yo. Looks like Mr. Yo not calling the restart is going to pay off for him.
Yeah.
Well,
It
that's
seems
quite...
like he had late sheep or something because he only had 1 house and all the other villagers were scouting, and maybe just like one.
Could have been the case. Could have been
Yeah.
the case, indeed. But let's take a look at the villager count. Yeah, looks like Mr. Yo is a little bit further behind, so he might have gotten a little bit of idle TC. Nothing too major, though, I would assume. And the distance to the water is quite nice here for Mr. Yo, as well as only a couple of tiles.
Ooh.
What
Let's go
about
back to the
here?
town center of Mr. Yo. I think he just got a sheep. Yeah.
He
unlucky.
killed a sheep, quite unfortunately, right there. Nothing too major, especially because he was actually able to get that deer very early on.
Yeah, but
That's more
still
now.
better to get into furage with like having 4 sheep instead of having 3 sheep. For example.
Certainly. It looks like RiuT is going really heavy into deer right here, right? He's not really concentrating on any of the sheep.
Yeah.
So he wants to really just take care of that hunt,
Whoop,
making
whoop.
sure that he gets as much as he can.
Yeah.
That lure seems
That's
a
how
little
you
bit
should
risky
do
at
it,
some
obviously.
point, but it's going to work out just perfectly.
Yeah. The distance is very short, and there's no lag, and he's one of them.
Yep, there we got. So the dog is being built up right here in the front. No big surprise. Looks like the dog from Mr. Yo is going to be a little bit delayed.
Yeah.
Nothing too major, hopefully, for him. Yeah, Mr. Yo, indeed, he's behind when it comes to villagers. Good 10 to 15 seconds. If I'm not mistaken. Hopefully, that's not going to play a major role. He's going now for his second boar. Second boar in sort of an odd position.
Trying to hide
But
behind the berries.
yeah, he's obviously did not do loom, so he will try to block it right here with this sheep. No, looks like he won't be needing that because
Still didn't get a hit.
yeah,
It's
he
the
did
first
even get a
now.
hit. When there's many curves for the board, it usually sort of the villagers usually get a little bit of a time right there
Yeah.
because the board bucks a little bit.
Yeah, but sometimes the board thinks like, okay, F it, I will just.
I'll just go back. Yeah, that can happen as well. Hopefully
Yeah.
for him, happily for him, that did not happen. Let's try to take a look at the resources. Both players should be really close to go up. Unfortunately for Mr. Yo, he was house a split second right there. And he was behind already, going to get behind even more. Hopefully that is not going to play the major role right here. Let's maybe take a look at the docks. Very nice deep fish right here for RiuT. What about Mr. Yo? Yeah, quite nice deep fish right here. A little bit deep
Absolutely.
fish right here. So it's not going to be because of the fish that any of the players is going to lose.
Yeah. Since this isn't like a standard Microsoft map or Standard Studios map, the fish is quite fair most of the time.
Yeah. This community-made map, so the guys who made this map make sure that the map was going to be fair. of
Reel
course.
is up and Yo's still in the loop.
Yep, and a little
Oh,
bit
14
later.
seconds
A
difference.
little bit later is Mr. Yo going to go up. Same amount of villagers, so that idle TC that he must have had in that housing period when he was not able to do any villagers cost him a couple of seconds right here. Let's see if that is going to be enough to actually
but
play a major
if
role.
you know that you're getting up 9:45, I'm surprised that he's building more offensive dogs.
Oh, let's take a look. Seems
Because
like
he
he's
kind of should know where RiuT is, right? I would have preferred building the dogs like in the north of his starting dog.
Let's see if you can actually see. No, he didn't scout much of
Yeah, but
RiuT's
he obviously
base.
still knows where RiuT is.
He's
Because
gonna-
the passing is
Yeah,
always
he's
to the
gonna
enemy.
guess. Of course, he's gonna have a good guess where he is. Not knowing exactly where, though. He's going for the third dog as well. A little bit too fast with that. Villager still needs to complete the second one. What about RiuT? RiuT should be doing his third dock right now to make sure it gets finished before he actually gets to castle to feudal age. Let me go into his point of view to actually check that out. Yeah, looks like the third dock, or does he have a third dock somewhere? No, it was a little bit delayed, Nearly, in my opinion.
He wanted to have the first 2 galleys out and then only build the third dock.
Third one.
So if you start the third dock, like a second galley is delayed quite heavily.
Okay, so maybe that could be an opportunity for Mr. Yoda sort of win a little bit of time right here, considering he was the last one.
Yeah, his, like first and second galley is later, but the third galley is way earlier. So he has to go back a bit, but then he can take the fight 3 against 2.
Fourth dock right away from RiuT. Mr. Yo not doing that just yet, waiting a little bit more. Hitting a couple more villagers to gold, quite standard, and he really needs to make sure that his fish does not get killed. RiuT starting to chase them away, needs to be careful. He does
sending them back again?
Yeah, he does not want to lose any galleys right here. He now starts focusing on the galleys. It's a 3 versus 2, so RiuT needs to be really careful. They are so close together. This is going to be so important. Whoever is able to micro batter the lag is going to help because they have 0 lag, basically. Going back and forth, nice dancing skills from both players. Getting housed is RiuT at the worst possible moment. He's got a small advantage right here, but Mr. Yo managing to get a force galley down. And let's see whoever is able to get the first skill could be in such a huge advantage. Nice job here by RiuT, focusing the right one. That was on so low HP. Looks like he will be able to get a second one, not without losing
so low
one
on
himself.
HP, all the ships of Yo.
Yeah, let's see if Yo is going to be
even
able.
sniping. Wow, sniping fishing ships now.
boats.
And the fourth dock was so late. You can see still the.
I wanted to say that. Yeah, the fourth dock came up really
ship.
low. And the population not looking good at all for Mr. Yo. He's getting a little bit trapped here.
Oh, not even a little bit.
And he just lost one galley. Needs to make sure he can take at least one or just run away. Not
7 against 2 military ships now.
He just lost another one.
And they still have their scouts, so... No, they don't have their scouts.
It looks like the fight on the water is quite over already, to be honest. It's a 9 galley advantage. It's 10 galleys for RiuT, only 5 for Yo. And this is the time where he needs to start planning a land attack, maybe.
Nice splitting of RiuT. I'm not sure. I think Yo might try to stay on water because he still has 3 fishing ships and he doesn't see anything on land, and he knows that RiuT still has his land. So he's trying to snipe a bit, and he's even getting
nice
fishing
job,
ship.
nice job, nice job. One of the fishing boats is gone. He's trying to come in from the back. Maybe we'll get another one.
And it's 10 against 9 military now.
What the? Okay, it looks like it was just a split second, but the numbers does not seem to be. Yeah, but then again, he's going to get trapped once more, going the wrong direction. RiuT is not gonna let him go away like this. He's gonna trap him quite nicely right here. Gonna make sure he does not get any free passage away from his docks. And there he goes. Looks like RiuT will be able to get a whole lot of kills right there. There it is.
And he killed some return.
And I would have to say the water is GG for Yo at this moment.
Yeah, and I think his game as well. Let's go into the point of view of Yo. He's building the 5th dock and is building galleys out of those 4 docks.
A 5th dock. It's something we don't see very often.
Now. Not on food at all.
Let's try to take a look at RiuT, of course, has got the fletching. Mr. Yo only now completing his dock, so he will still need to wait a little bit more in order to have it.
And it's 16 against 6 on military. I don't see any chance.
There's no chance of actually coming back on the water, right? There's actually no chance. RiuT's idling this a little bit. He should have been trying to kill the fishing boats. My bad. He wasn't trying to do that. Was successful at that. Just killed all of Mr. Yo's fishing boats. And that means Mr. Yo's uptime is going to be so late.
I don't see Mr. Yo ever getting up, to be honest. He doesn't even have a mill yet.
I'm on his point of view. He doesn't have a mill. Are you kidding me? He does not have a mill, so he can't do any farms whatsoever. There's no way this guy's gonna go up to Castle Age, even if no Castle Age.
I mean, now building a mill.
And no Castle Age, no forward
mill. RiuT is scared.
Basically.
He's building a Rex, and I like this decision a lot. Because that's the only way he can lose now. By a land attack. So, please, build 5 skirmishers, some archers, use your scout. He should send the scout into the base of Yo now.
He's sort of patrolling here the passage to make sure he can see if any villagers are going to cross that.
I like RiuT's reaction a lot. But Yo got some feedback.
And he's got a nice amount. He got a nice amount here. So everything RiuT has got to do is just merge his army and make sure he's got the numbers to fight this back. And indeed, that's what he is doing right now. So those 5 docks for Mr. Yo might just not be enough.
Yeah, and you know, RiuT reacting against a potential landing by building a Rex, archery, like 3 outposts. He's just not getting those resources into his garage. And suddenly he's only down 3 military. He was ahead like 14 just some time ago.
That's quite impressive indeed. The numbers were so far off just a couple of minutes ago. Looks like he stopped making galleys. Maybe he thought Mr. Yo is going to give up on the water, and then he stopped making galleys himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be the only explanation for
now
this.
he needs to get on water back, but he still has fishing ship. And look at the food counts. It's 600 against 75.
75, yeah. There's no way Mr. Yo is going to go up anytime soon, so his only hope is to actually get a nice fight right here. The numbers are sort of getting there for him, and he does get one of the galleys down. Nice job here from Mr. Yo. He needs a godly micro in order to actually...
Yeah, I think he might even go for like 6 docks now and just win the water and feudal age.
6-1, just... not there just yet.
No, I think he's not going for it, but that would be the only option, because if they're taking like small skirmishes, now Mr. Yo has more military than RiuT.
Unbelievable, unbelievable, and he just was able to snipe another galley without losing a single one.
So Yo needs to fight now. He needs to fight as
RiuT
soon
was
as
able
possible.
to click up to feudal age. Once RiuT gets the castle age, there's absolutely no chance that Yo can come back from this, because then RiuT is gonna have ballistics, so Yo needs to kill all this army as soon as possible. The numbers are still favoring RiuT, but a little bit micromanagement right there. Make sure that he just lost 1 galley for nothing. So Yo holding on to this, Yo selling everything he's got to sell, and he's
just
actually able to go to
food.
castle age, so he won't even be that far behind. Mr. Yo holding on to the game as good as he can. Look at the population so close to each other. Wow. It's 67 against 64. What is happening in this series? What is happening in this series?
The problem was that RiuT wasn't at the docks. He was protecting his last fishing ship.
Oh, okay. I guess this sort of explains a little bit of what was happening. So RiuT was sort of giving up on the water. In the meantime, doing a landing. We'll have to say landing archers on Yo's wood line. And this could be so horrible for Yo. A couple of villagers are gonna get killed.
And he's blocking both gold spots.
What did he do on archery range?
Yeah, he was protecting. He was scared of Yo landing, so he built an archery range to counter.
Maybe one at home. Yeah, he maybe made one at home
and just produced. And now he's in between both gold spots. So he knows if I just stay there, it's GG.
There's no chance for Yo to come back, even when it looked like Yo could eventually. Exactly. So that's actually the reason why RiuT was dropping the numbers on the water. He was making a couple of archers, and those archers ended up just winning him the game.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
All in all, while it did look a little bit close, it actually wasn't, because RiuT had a planned strategy for having less stuff on the water.
It looked close. On the water, it looked close. If Yo would have been able, just think about a scenario. Yo realized what's going on.
He walls himself.
He stonewalls and pushes the effort like with 6 docks on feudal age.
There, RiuT could be in such a hard spot.
Then he needs to he's up in castle, but without units, and he's up in castle 5 or 6 minutes earlier, but then he has to get 2 extra TCs, and it's tough to boom on Rooster. You have close to 0 places for farms, and then he needs to redock at the back. He still had the better eco and the better tech, but the game would have been crazy and wild.
And once more a 2-1 series so far. So 3 series, 3-1 so far.
We got the best players in the world, and they're head to head, and it's we didn't even seed the brackets because it's they're so good, all the players. We will go into games.
Yeah, what can you do? What can you do? Maybe we could sort of argue that Viper and Jordan maybe, but even that these guys are so good, right?
You saw Jordan is lost against RiuT, so you can't see Jordan as number 2.
Yep.
And Yo could have taken the series as well.
And RiuT could have actually finished this so much earlier. So much earlier. And he put himself in such a tough spot. Such a tough spot. All right, guys. Once more, we're going to get the players to come here. So don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay.